That's it. If Meghan wants to send us stuff, it's going straight in the bin.
Jennifer Aniston, who became famous in the TV series Friends, doesn't want a friendship with Meghan Markle. And she has just rejected the fellow actress in the most mortifying manner after moving to Montecito. This is a headline that Meghan Markle doesn't want to see. She doesn't want her jam. Meghan Markle awkwardly love-bombing Jennifer Aniston with cringy gifts and invites ahead of the Friends actress's move to the diva's neighborhood. Let me take you through this story from Radar Online because it is quite something. Needy Meghan Markle is love-bombing Jennifer Aniston with gifts ahead of the actress's move to Montecito after her stalking ordeal, but sources say the star wants the Duchess to get lost. Sources tell Radar Online the Duchess is using the actress's recent ordeal to love-bomb her with gifts, including her posh jam, in a bid to win her over ahead of the actress's move to Montecito. According to insiders, Markle has been sending her a series of gifts, including artisanal jams and luxury wellness products, in an effort to establish a connection. A source revealed Meghan is thrilled that Jennifer is moving to Montecito. She's been trying to get closer to her for years, and now that they're neighbours, she sees this as a perfect opportunity. But, and here's the big but, Aniston wants nothing to do with the Duchess because another pal said Jen appreciates the gestures, but is focused on settling into her new home and prioritising her safety. She's not looking to expand her social circle at the moment, and here's the kicker, here's the killer line. She also sees Meghan as poisonous and wants nothing to do with the drama she creates around herself and with the royal family. Jen, sorry, this just gets even more mortifying. Jen has quietly binned Meg's gifts and not replied to any of her desperate invites for chats. She knows Meg also wants her as a guest on her podcast, but she is having none of it. She doesn't want her jam or her friendship. Angela Levin, Prince Harry's biographer, our royal mastermind, joins me now. Look, Angela, we've seen Gwyneth Paltrow go down a similar path where Meghan almost forces the friendship out into the public, hoping that the celebrity in question is going to feel so embarrassed that they actually do a total U-turn and come on side. But it feels like Jennifer Aniston really has the measure of Meghan Markle here, especially using that word poisonous, and especially making the point, Angela, that she doesn't like the way that she has treated the British royal family.
Well, that really pleases me, actually, and I would like to hear more and more people saying that because it has been just so awful for them. And Meghan actually is very, very rude and bad. And I'm very pleased that people say, look, you do what you like, but I'm actually for the royal family and I don't want to hear the dreadful things that you or Harry are saying. Get lost. But what's interesting is, well, is that she's getting so keen, the Duchess, she likes to be known as, is that she's sent lots of gifts because the first ones haven't worked, including, and I had to look this up, an artisanal jam. Do you know what that is?
No.
Well, it's a jam which you make by hand and it's full of beautiful things that nothing has got any special additions to it. It's just very pure and very healthy. Now, you know, most of the jams have been done by a factory and are not like that. But she's so desperate that she would maybe even make a jar of jam and send it along. But, you know, it's pathetic, isn't it? If somebody doesn't want you, you just step back quietly. But you're quite right, and I agree with you that she goes on and on and on, sending things around until the person starts feeling, okay, I might do it, or oh, look, I don't want to upset her too much. You know, poor thing, she's always so sad. You know, but she's not. She's a tough woman herself. So, you know, that's it. If Meghan wants to send her stuff, it's going straight in the bin.
And the thing is, Angela, we saw, didn't we, with Gwyneth Paltrow, it was a big mistake. Gwyneth Paltrow has now actually been Markled. That's how I describe it, because now she's had to pretend that she is friends with Meghan, even though she did want nothing to do with her to begin with. They made this video. So now every interview, Meghan Markle is asked all about, sorry, Gwyneth Paltrow is asked all about her friendship with Meghan Markle, which is non-existent. So I totally understand why Jennifer Aniston is just like, I don't want the drama. I'm moving to Montecito to be safer. I do not need this drama in my life. I mean, come on, this is a woman who already has a huge amount of media attention. And the last thing she needs is to be constantly connected with the toxicity of Meghan.
Yeah, but also if you're moving, they've probably got a huge mansion. It's very stressful and it's very demanding, and you want to concentrate on getting everything right, getting things safe, getting things organized. You don't want to hop off and have a chat with Meghan who'll tell you all about herself. It's a very silly thing to do when she's just coming. If she wanted it, she should wait at least for a year when she's settled down, made friends, her family were all happy, and then you could try, but not when you're just moving in and there's such a lot to do. Even if you have good staff, you still have to have the right thing in the right place and all that. And it's very foolish. And that's a sort of a call of desperation from Meghan, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because Angela, we know that if it's a non-famous neighbor, like the neighbor the elderly man who tried to take a book or a video, I think it was a documentary to Meghan about the
Yes, it was a
history of the
present.
local
It was
area.
a
And yeah,
present.
exactly, because he wanted her to know about the area and she rejected him. So
Mm.
she's only interested, it seems to me, Angela, with friends who are going to further her either professionally or reputationally. Because we've seen that with the likes of Jamie Kern-Lima, with the boss of Spanx, Sarah Blackley, who she interviewed this week. All of her friendships, she just views as networking opportunities. And
Mm.
that's why we also saw her absolutely brutal treatment of Jessica Mulrooney, who was her best friend, whose children were even in Meghan's bridal party. The moment that she was caught up in a scandal, Jessica Mulrooney was thrown under the bus. And I think that's also really going to matter to celebrities too. I mean, Jamie Kern-Lima and Sarah Blackley are so stupid, I think, to entangle themselves. I mean, here they are, two very successful women, both billionaires in their own right. But trust me, Angela, if there is even a hint of scandal, Meghan will throw them both under the bus.
Yes, well, she's done that to her father, hasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Not a very a big problem. And, anyone who doesn't fit the picture is off. And I mean, I think it affects the staff as well. She might not sack them all, but if she doesn't like something and starts shouting, then, they're going to go, or she's going to send emails at 5 o'clock in the morning and expect them to have done by 5:30 a.m. This is the way she behaves, and it hasn't yet gone into her head that people are aware of this, can see this. In some ways she's quite clever. In other ways, she's absolutely not. That she can't see what she's doing, how she's doing it, and what her behavior looks from the other person's eyes. She doesn't do that at all.
Angela, you've been doing a deep dive this week into Meghan's new strategy. And
Yes.
what it seems that you have discovered, I'll obviously let you go into all of your findings, but what it seems that you've discovered most is that having previously demanded her privacy, in fact, now Meghan is the one who wants to reveal all. What have you found out?
Well, it seems absolutely extraordinary to me that she has got an opportunity of controlling conversations. It's not anybody who's going to try and take that away from her. But if you look at what she's done, she's now admitted she lied by not asking the late Queen if they could use her nickname, which she actually asked. Both her and Harry said that they had asked the Queen, and she was happy about it. But she couldn't get if she could get the nickname of Lilibet for her daughter. But she didn't do that, and she's just said that now. How could she let that out? I mean, it's absolutely terrible because she is actually saying, I'm a terrible liar. I spoke to the Queen of England and the Commonwealth, and I got away with it by pretending it was a lie, and it wasn't a lie because she's too dignified to say anything about it. Terrible. She also revealed that despite having a great nanny, she said she found it very demanding being a mother. So it's not many women would say that actually. And the children are not now screaming babies in the first few months where she could have got someone in anyway. She finds it very difficult. And actually, if you see the type of woman she is, you analyze that for yourself, you can see why she feels very difficult because she hasn't got the time. Most awful of all, she said she listened to her acupuncturist and he said, if the baby's crying, treat the mother. This was she was proud to say. We have to take care of ourselves first. As you know, I nearly fell apart when she said that she wouldn't go up and help a crying baby because they can't speak to you. You don't know at the beginning. You can't understand what the cries mean. Feel ill, have hurt themselves, something that you think, no, 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 it's me first. I'm not going up there and getting busy with that.
And she
Dreadful.
credited this, didn't she, to her acupuncturist in the
Yes,
United Kingdom during
yes.
her time in the royal family, Angela, which shows what a privileged life she was able to lead when she was here, despite all of the claims that she made. And she was clearly surrounded by a group of people who told her whatever she wanted to hear. Oh, don't worry about the kids at all. Just put yourself first, Meghan. Put yourself first.
Yes, that's terrible. I've never heard of anyone who says that. And then she puts on her victim act to talk about how difficult it is for women to earn money and be powerful. Now, I think that's absolute rubbish because that's living in the early 20th century, isn't it? I know loads of women who do very well, and sometimes the husbands do as well, or they don't want to, and let the wife work incredibly hard. They don't have to do so much. They can do that very well. But I don't know when people try and stop women being powerful or earning, a lot of money. But she makes this up with this victim-like face that actually, although she's got loads of money, she's still a poor thing because nobody likes it. I mean, it's always got this negativity about her. I could go on and on, but I won't bore you with any more. But the fact is that you would imagine that she's a very, very unhappy person with herself because she can't look at things in a positive way unless she's winning something. But to tell all that, to let all that out about herself, is actually telling people how awful she is. You know, who wants to do that? I mean, we're all quite nice and quite not so nice sometimes, but actually to tell hundreds of people that you're really awful needs some understanding.
But first, the reason you're watching this show is that it's becoming increasingly difficult to trust mainstream media or the so called fact checkers who claim to determine which facts are true. And for good reason, given the ongoing debates over free speech, the controversy surrounding Brexit, and how Trump and other anti establishment politicians are portrayed. So I have the solution. It's called Ground News. It's the best way to stay informed and cut through media bias and manipulative narratives so you can get the facts for yourself. It's been a game changer for a news junkie like me, and you can see for yourself at ground.news/outspoken. So let me show you this incredible website and app in action. Let's take the recent landmark decision by the UK Supreme Court that ruled that women can only be biological adult human females, reversing years of trans extremism. You can see clearly in one place that over 360 sources around the world are covering this story. Ground News instantly shows how the story is being covered by the media, broken down by whether it leans left or right, illustrated by its bias distribution chart. And if you scroll down, you can actually see every headline about the story, along with the political bias and ownership of the publication. So quite clearly, you can see great coverage from the Daily Wire. They gave a really good headline. UK Supreme Court rules trans identifying men are not women. Loved what spiked online, and the Daily Telegraph did too. By stark contrast, however, the left-wing National in Scotland said the result was only a victory for gender-critical feminists, and the Canary ran with just a nutty headline. Victory for the far right as Supreme Court rolls back trans women's rights by 2 decades. I mean, you couldn't make it up. My favourite feature is the blind spot feed, though, on Ground News, which surfaces upwards of 20 stories daily that receive the majority of coverage from one side of the political spectrum. So if you love the news, like I do and I know you do, the blind spot feed is the best way to get a balanced perspective on what's really happening. So go to ground.news/outspoken, or you can scan the QR code on screen if you're watching on YouTube and Rumble to subscribe today. You will get 40% off the same Vantage plan that I use for unlimited access. Big discount that. So that's ground.news/outspoken. But now, back to the show. Angela, I was interested to compare how Meghan is trying to manipulate, I guess, the narrative publicly with what Princess Diana used to do. And before I get you to weigh in, Piers Morgan, who had a close relationship, or a close professional relationship with Princess Diana when he was editor of the Daily Mirror, has been speaking about it this week. Watch.
Have lunch with Diana. I used to talk to her on the phone quite regularly. I used to send her stories that we were going to run, and she would edit them and fax them back to me. So,
That's cool.
What a crazy life experience.
Yeah, and I really liked Diana. She was fantastic. Diana worked the media exactly the same way the media worked Diana. She was the biggest celebrity in the world, arguably the biggest celebrity there's ever been.
And sharp.
Very sharp, and knew exactly how to play the media. And that's not to say there wasn't lots of intrusion into her life. There was. It's not to say some of that wasn't unwarranted. It was. It's not to say she didn't get more attention than anybody else, because she was the biggest star. She did. And so it can't have been easy at all. But did Diana manipulate the media ruthlessly when she wanted to? Absolutely. She was mesmerizing, incredibly charming, very smart, very funny. But very she wanted to make a point in front of William about where the line is for the media, and I totally understood that. And it was good fun. I mean, I remember with William, I think it was around that time that we got offered pictures of a poster he had on his wall at Eton College, which had "Don't drink and drive, have a spliff and fly," and we bought that. We bought that for, I think, £2,000 off the market and never published it. So when they talk about irresponsible tabloids, I've got a lot of stories like that of stuff we didn't publish. So I'm not after any gratitude, but I do think in the scales of balance between the media and the royal family, the media has been as much a part of the longevity of the royal family when many other monarchies have disappeared through Europe.
That's interesting.
One of the last standing ones is the British monarchy, and a lot of that's because the media still fuel them and portray them as the biggest stars on the planet.
Angela, very interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, Prince Harry has tried to paint a narrative, and this is a narrative that has absolutely been embraced by Meghan Markle, which is that their mother, or his mother, Princess Diana, would be totally on their side in their battle with the media. In fact, I mean, he very often tries to invoke Princess Diana, does he not, when he's talking about all of his battles with the media. And it's interesting because when you hear Piers Morgan, who was dealing with it at the time, I think Diana would think that Harry and Meghan's media strategy was insane. And it was absolutely nuts that they hadn't tried to form any genuine positive relationships.
Well, when I was on the Mail, Daily Mail, Richard Kay was sitting very near me, and Diana would call him up loads and loads of times and tell him what she wanted. He would go off running, or he would get someone to go and take a photograph. I mean, she got what she wanted, and we were all interested in looking at that or hearing what she would say. She had a charisma. She was absolutely beautiful and stunning, and could put most people around the finger of her hand. I once went to a party with her, and she was charming to me, absolutely. Thought, oh gosh, this woman, and I'm not really like that, but she had a special quality that was just amazing. But she was also very kind, and she cared very much about people who were ill and unwell or small, or they had had bad accidents. But when she did need help was actually when she and Charles split up, because Charles wanted to pay for all her protection, and she didn't want to because she wanted to be free. And so all the people who wanted to be around her, the photographers, would rush round her. So when she wanted to get off and get in her car and drive, she couldn't, and she used to cry. And Harry told me how upsetting this was, and that it was all the paparazzi who were absolutely tearing her to pieces. Well, it was horrible for her, quite right. But when Charles was offering to pay himself, she could have actually avoided all that, and she could have avoided all that in Paris, where she died. Unfortunately, she didn't get that quite right. But she was very young, and overall, she was lovely. You couldn't resist how she looked and how she charmed you. But with Meghan, she's just a liar. You just think she's a complete liar. I don't think Diana lied very much at all. I can't say she never did, but I don't think that wasn't the way she maneuvered herself. But she wanted to get on the front page, and she wanted to be seen when she wanted to be seen. I don't think that's anywhere near like telling terrible lies and actually not telling the Queen something about you using her nickname. I think they're miles apart.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree, actually. Now, Angela, Prince William has given a rare interview to the Daily Telegraph, but in true Prince William style, I think we can say, and bless him, he plays the media in a very different way. Because I waded through this, Angela, and it's very interesting about the work that he's doing for the Duchy of Cornwall. It's in the Daily Telegraph, we should say. But, I mean, there really wasn't any big revelation there, was there? But what did you learn about William? And we'll show some of these incredible pictures. I think the pictures are fascinating, actually, because it shows him very much comfortably at work. And the point, I guess, of the article is to show he does a lot of work for the Duchy of Cornwall behind the scenes that we're not seeing. But what did you make of this interview, Angela?
That was actually very much William, because he's not going to reveal anything really significant. I think he
Jennifer Aniston reportedly wants nothing to do with Meghan Markle, and if the latest reports are to be believed, this is exactly the kind of headline Meghan would rather avoid. According to claims circulating online, Meghan has allegedly been making repeated attempts to build a friendship with the Hollywood actress ahead of Jennifer's move to Montecito, California. However, sources cited in the reports suggest those efforts have not been welcomed and that Jennifer is keeping her distance. The story has attracted significant attention because it combines two things that always generate headlines: celebrity friendships and Meghan Markle. Whenever Meghan's name becomes linked to another high-profile celebrity, speculation immediately follows. Is it a genuine friendship? Is it professional networking? Or is it simply another example of the intense public fascination that surrounds her every move? According to the reports, Meghan has allegedly been sending Jennifer Aniston gifts in an effort to establish a connection before they become neighbors. These gifts reportedly included luxury wellness products and her now widely discussed artisanal jam. The claims suggest that Meghan viewed Jennifer's move to Montecito as an opportunity to finally build a friendship with one of Hollywood's most recognizable and influential stars. One insider, quoted in the reports, claimed that Meghan was excited about Jennifer's arrival and saw it as a chance to strengthen ties with someone she has admired for years. From that perspective, the gesture might seem harmless. After all, welcoming a new neighbor with gifts is hardly unusual. In many communities, it would be considered thoughtful and polite. However, according to the same reports, Jennifer Aniston was not interested in developing a relationship. Sources allegedly close to the actress claimed that her attention is focused on settling into her new home and maintaining her privacy. Following years of intense media scrutiny and personal challenges, Jennifer is said to be prioritizing peace and stability rather than expanding her social circle. What has generated the most attention, though, is the claim that Jennifer allegedly views Meghan as a source of unnecessary drama. Reports suggest that she wants to avoid becoming involved in any controversies connected to the Duchess of Sussex and her ongoing public disputes. It is important to note that none of these claims have been publicly confirmed by either Meghan Markle or Jennifer Aniston. Much of the story relies on anonymous sources, which means readers should approach the allegations with caution. Nevertheless, the reports have sparked widespread discussion because they fit into a broader narrative that has followed Meghan for years. One reason the story has resonated so strongly is that it taps into a perception many critics already hold. Since leaving royal duties alongside Prince Harry in 2020, Meghan has often been accused of attempting to build relationships with influential celebrities and business figures. Whether those accusations are fair is another question entirely, but the perception exists and stories like this reinforce it. For supporters of Meghan, the criticism may seem unfair. Networking is a normal part of life in Hollywood. Celebrities regularly attend events, collaborate on projects, and develop friendships that also have professional benefits. Building connections is often essential to maintaining a successful career in entertainment. Yet, critics argue that Meghan's approach appears more calculated. They point to various examples from recent years where friendships or associations have attracted headlines and speculate that many of these relationships are driven by image management rather than genuine personal connection. The Jennifer Aniston story is particularly interesting because Jennifer has spent decades cultivating a very different public image. Despite being one of the most famous actresses in the world, she's often viewed as relatively low drama by Hollywood standards. She rarely engages in public feuds, seldom comments on controversies, and generally maintains a reputation for professionalism and discretion. Because of that reputation, some observers believe Jennifer would naturally be cautious about becoming associated with anyone who generates constant media attention. Whether those concerns are justified or not, the reports suggest that avoiding controversy is a priority for her. Another factor is timing. Moving home is one of the most stressful experiences anyone can face, regardless of wealth or status. Relocating to a new property involves countless decisions, logistical challenges, and adjustments. For someone as famous as Jennifer Aniston, those pressures are likely multiplied by security concerns and media interest. Given those circumstances, it would not be surprising if she simply had little interest in new social commitments. Even if the reports are exaggerated, the idea that Jennifer would prefer to focus on settling into her new environment rather than developing new celebrity friendships seems entirely plausible. The story has also drawn comparisons to previous rumors involving other celebrities.